finally! The pixie just helped. Thanks for trying to leave us behind, Dwibs. Again.
Where's my hand?
Well, that serves you right.
Well, he didn't get very far. He crashed the sleigh anyway.
Pretty much.
That's why I didn't join you guys.
Yeah, you see, it turned out when I was escaping with the sleigh, Deji jumped into my path, so I had to swerve and I hit a tree.
Yeah, a tree on the second star to the right, straight on till morning.
Actually, Joe, I think it was like the fifth one on the left.
Good.
I know the solution, Joe, but let's just leave Dwibs as bait for the mermaids and we can go.
My legs are broken!
Even better reason, Dwibs.
You'll heal.
Yeah, you can't run away.
You'll heal, Dwibs, you'll heal. But without further ado, folks, we're here for our fifth and final Christmas pick. And since it's actually Christmas itself, I think it's only appropriate that I introduce it in a special Yuletide way that one would be able to understand. Music, maestro! Here we are with the final pick. Squirming coming to make you like old St. Nick. Java and Roy. Twits and Deji with all their joy. With Pedro here, it's the final show. Are you ready to roll? Here we are with the final plan. It's 2003's Peter Pan.
I regret so many things right now.
I keep screaming, but God doesn't hear me.
Yes.
That should be
I encourage this.
Yes, folks, here we are for 2003's Peter Pan here. So, in a way, we're looking at what would originally chronologically be the sequel to 2015's Pan. If we consider Pan canon, which we don't.
From a different company anyway, because this is not Warner Bros.
Okay, so 2003's Peter Pan, a movie that came out in December 25th. So like with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, we're celebrating this movie's anniversary. In this case, it's 17th anniversary here and there. But
so I have a question with that. Did this movie bomb in the box office because they released a movie on Christmas Day?
Okay, yes it did bomb, but unlike most movies that bomb, this one has a happy ending, in a meta sense anyway. So, the story about this actually begins with Robin Williams' Hook film. Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting that. So, we all remember Hook. You know, plenty of people loved it. It made all the monies here and there. But, you know, after the making of Hook, the film producer of that movie, oh god, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Dottie, the producer of...
Fired?
Thank you, yeah, that guy, he wanted to make a more traditional take on Peter Pan here and there, you know, after Hook, which was a rousing success here and there. So, he went on to the works of making it. But then a problem happened. As you may know, in 1997...
Oh, okay, sorry.
No. In 1997, he entered into a romantic relationship with the Princess of England, Diana, at the time.
Wales.
Yeah.
Whatever, moving on.
Unfortunately...
Dolphins, actually.
Unfortunately, tragedy struck when the two died in a car crash, which was very infamous here and there.
Dang.
So it was up to Al-Fayed's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, to, well, help make the actual adaptation that his son wanted to make a reality. And boy, oh boy, did he help make it a reality. There was a lot of money going into this one. Believe it or not, actually, as you may notice, I pointed out how in, 2015's Pan, it felt like that movie was trying to be a prequel to Hook. This one feels even more like it. Why? Because originally this movie was set to be a prequel of Hook. Hell, you could pretty much count it as a prequel of Hook if you just ignore some minor inconsistencies here and there. The only reason they didn't make this an outright prequel to Hook was because they couldn't get Dustin Hoffman for the project here and there.
I can actually see that because while skimming through the movie earlier, I did notice that they do reference something from Hook.
Oh yeah, they reference quite a bit from Hook. So, this movie. This movie was a very high production piece for the time. It had some pretty stellar effects for 2003, all things considered. And it had a big budget of $130 million. And it had a pretty rocking cast with Jeremy Sumpter as Peter Pan, and Satan himself, Jason Isaacs, as Captain Hook. Fun fact!
Great casting.
Jason Isaacs has gone on to say that this is his favorite film he's ever been in. So that's something. In fact, this movie actually did garner quite a cult following here. There was just 3 problems with releasing it when they did. Number 1, this was the same year that Pirates of the Caribbean was produced. So you had
Ouch.
2 films with pirates, with swashbuckling action, kind of vying for competition here and there.
Musketeers?
No. Problem number 2. This came out on December 25th, near cheaper by the dozen, too. Which, well, laugh as you may, Steve Martin was pretty much a big giant in the industry at the time. He still kind of is, he just doesn't do as much movies here and there. So that didn't help. But let's talk about problem number 3, which was probably the biggest.
If I recall the timing, Return of the King.
Yep, you may have heard of that film, one of the highest grossing films of all time.
So basically, Universal and Sony learned nothing from Paramount's mistake of Star Trek Nemesis.
Yeah, sadly the movie was a box office bomb, coming in at $122 million at the box office, and was sort of part of the reason for the NBC merger, involving good old guys Vivendi themselves. Yes, that Vivendi. But like I said, it's not a bad ending for the movie. The movie did actually get quite a few awards, critical acclaim, the audiences loved it, and, well, I'll go into it more when we actually start the movie, but let's just say the soundtrack got universal praise, and for a good reason. The acting's great, it's considered by many to be a contender for the best adaptation of Peter Pan, bar none, and we're about to have a look and see why. So, folks, without further ado, think your happy thoughts, sprinkle yourself in pixie dust, and no, we're not snorting it this time, and start at the Columbia Pictures logo. Yeah, that's right, this was actually...
Or the Universal logo, but the film life doesn't differ at all, so it doesn't...
Yeah. Okay then, 3, 2, 1, click. Yeah.
This actually is an adaptation that I always was curious to see, because I saw the trailers when it was released around the time, but I never actually managed to check it out. So this is a bucket list, like a moment.
As far as I can tell, this movie over the years has kind of fell into obscurity because you don't really hear anybody talking about this movie anymore that I can see.
It was definitely ironically most popular around the time of its release, and years to come did start to wane a bit around the 2010s for
So
some
actually,
reason.
who did the score?
James Newton Howard.
Huh, all children grow up.
Was there a video game tie-in to this?
There may have been.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make the obvious joke.
Okay, judging from some of the screenshots that I seen, I seem to get, if I were to guess, the kind of aesthetic, like with Cinderella.
Okay, here's a bit of an interesting thing. This one takes more inspiration from the book. Well, not just the book, though. It takes inspiration from all types of Peter Pan lore and different adaptations
So we
there.
will actually have an adaptation of the Shadow Thieves.
Also, from what I can tell, the director of this movie, P.J. Hogan, this was a bit of a stick out from the rest of them from their works. Mainly I think it's a he actually. His work mainly stemmed in rom-coms. So him helming a fantasy movie was a bit out of the blue.
I just found it. There was a Peter Pan the Motion Picture event video game tie into this.
Oh, hello! We wasted no time with our protagonist, I guess.
Well, here's a bit of a different thing, though. Unlike in the Disney version, the kids don't actually know about Peter Pan prior. It's more so they know about, the pirates and everything, but Peter Pan is kind of an unknown figure to them. For the time being.
No.
Wait, question. Is Peter Pan an asshole in this one?
Well, okay, let me put it like
I
this.
thought it was Tinkerbell, yeah, so...
Oh, well, Peter Pan's
in the
also a
book.
dick himself.
Yeah, in the book, he's
Ah! What the fuck?
It's just a cuckoo clock.
Also,
Alright,
that blue screen. No, what I was saying is that there's one thing that the Disney version managed to do right was actual foreshadowing, because the first part that gives you the build up the mystery, and only later Peter Pan actually shows up, confirming that. Here, nope, just from the beginning. It's like the audience, he treats the audience like they know everything already. It's like the Wayne's not getting shot in a Batman story.
Talking dog, we're not in Neverland yet.
Wait, talking
Just
dog?
be glad he
No,
does-
the dog wasn't talking.
Wait, who's the plays the father? I see. him
Jason
already.
Isaacs.
Oh, so there's some irony here. All
Well,
right.
okay. To be fair, the tradition of the same actor who plays Hook playing Mr. Darling is something that is kind of, been a thing since the first ever stage play. There's a...
that shot of the model which was posing for a commercial.
A perfume commercial, yeah. Go on, Jova.
There's actually a bit of a fun fact behind that. See, originally, when the first stage play for Peter Pan was being made, J.M. Barrie actually envisioned that, because, Peter was played by a girl, the person who should portray Hook should actually be the woman who was playing Mrs. Darling. But when the actor who played, Mr. Darling begged to play him, they pretty much relented because J.M. Barrie didn't really push for it that much, and so on and so forth. The tradition of Mr. Darling also playing Captain Hook has been a thing. However, as mystical as it sounds, I'll tell you the real reason why it started in the first place, though. It was because back then, theaters didn't like to hire more than one actor for certain roles.
I actually want to talk about this scene. Yeah. They're not?
Next, you're gonna tell me they're all communist or something.
It's olde England, Pedro. They're all about hierarchy and honor and all that.
This was a scene that always stuck to me back when I first watched it, when it first came out. So I actually want to talk about this.
Are the actors not taking the scene seriously?
Well, to be fair, they're...
Sorry, are we rolling?
Shane?
What? Well, she's a woman, so I'm assuming that would be the case.
I mean, Seto Kaiba has much more of a woman's chin than this actress. So what's your point?
She has a kiss. She said actually.
Is that the term described for a beauty mark or something?
This woman looks familiar.
Don't
Let's see. The woman play...
Auntie, you're creeping me out.
Don't worry, dear. It's just good foreshadowing for later.
This is weird. I don't like this.
I love how they're already encouraging her to have, thoughts that are probably not appropriate for her age yet. But
was that a thing even in the book, Jova?
Yes. Well, sort of. Okay. Here's the thing. It's old-time England, People tended to be a lot more forthcoming about the whole, I do hope that you can start a family of your own and all that.
See, that scene always stuck out to me because normally, of course, you already know that when it comes to the kiss scene in the story, you think about the Thimble scene, where Peter Pan doesn't know what a kiss is, and Wendy, just for the sake of avoiding confusion, she uses the thimble. Oh, look, this is a kiss, okay? But then later, Peter actually learns what exactly a kiss is. Mm-hmm. So that scene with she has a woman's chin and has a kiss in it. Oh,
that's not
what's with these movies' fascination for close-ups? Now I start to understand what Reeves' problem was with Fellowship of the Ring.
So let me get this straight. Wendy's aunt...
CGI has not aged well, huh?
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. Wendy's aunt is a creep, and Peter Pan is also a creep who watches Wendy in her sleep.
Well, I mean, he was always kind of creepy, even in the Disney movie.
Let's round them up. So who play actually?
Whoa.
What do you think?
Who actually play our set of protagonists?
Okay, our leading boy is Jeremy Sumpter, and yeah, he actually made history by being the first ever live-action actor to portray Peter Pan while being male. Normally, up until this point, Peter Pan was usually only portrayed in live-action media as, well, played by a girl. Because women tended to, have the physique and the ability to act as well. They even had some issues here because, well, let's just say puberty kind of took hold while it was going on. A bit more about that.
Also, this film set in ye old time England was shot mostly in Australia.
Totally the same thing.
Yeah, because we're both in the Commonwealth and have the British flag on.
You can tell
that's definitely similar, right?
You can tell this because these kids are clearly all going to Charles Dickens school, basically. Because seriously, in every Charles Dickens novel, there's a school that's exactly like that.
This is nice. I need to do self-rehearsal for the bankers.
What if Charles Dickens based all his books on like his childhood, but never changed the school?
Well, most likely.
Poor people.
Here's an interesting thing. In preparation for this commentary, I went and is this important?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Basically, she sees the boy about to deliver the letter, which will definitely get her in deep trouble with her father. But fate may take a hand.
Nah, what are you doing in the middle of the street without a leash?
Well, to be fair, Nana's more so watching them than they are watching her.
Oh yeah, of course, that's not a bad idea at all.
Pedro.
All of the bankers are portrayed super stereotypically, it's even worse than in Mary Poppins.
I think I recognize that one in the middle.
Also, Pedro, it's common lore that Nana is, the dog that watches over the kids.
I get that. It's just that, that is just the fact that we should have at least one grown-up involved in this situation.
Well, Nana's a grown-up dog.
What the fuck is going on?
Okay, let me rephrase that, Joe. A grown-up with a rational mind.
Joe, what the fuck is going on?
Comedy, too.
Do I need more alcohol again?
What the? Don't you see, Teo? Wacky comedic shenanigans.
Guys, you had like a good minute to get out the way. Again, you had 2 minutes or so to get out the way. You just stood there. This is on you.
It's a common problem in a lot of movies, sure, where characters, instead of actually reacting instinctively, just stare blankly at whatever danger is coming towards them.
To be fair, if someone was running towards you, I'm sure your reaction will be like, "What the hell is happening?"
Yeah, but I would also instinctively get out of the way. Yeah,
I guess.
Thing.
Okay, to be fair, it was kind of a narrow place they were in, so they couldn't really move to the right or the left at the time. Yeah.
Excuse me, leaving the dog out there in the snow, you're gonna kill the freaking dog,
Well,
it's punishment.
Yeah, also to be fair, Pedro, old-timey...
Yeah, that's punishment by death.
Doesn't it even have like a repair outside that he can stay under?
A doghouse.
Terrible.
There are better ways to deal with bad behavior from a dog, and this is not it.
The dog should have thought about it, okay?
Also, guys, interesting thing, P.J. Hogan directed and co-wrote this movie. The other co-writer is Michael Goldenberg, whose two of his films we've seen before.
Oh?
Which ones?
Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Okay.
And Green Lantern.
So
not a good track record, gotcha.
But yeah, fun fact.
In preparation, the Phoenix was fine, but.
But yeah, fun fact. In preparation for this commentary, I actually did show that scene with the woman's chin to my wife, and she was confused. And I asked her, "Do you think you have?" I asked her, "Do you think you have a woman's chin as well?" And she said the exact same thing. Well, I'm a woman and I have a chin, so I'm assuming so.
Like I said, if they wanted to talk about potential cranium conformation, formation that ranges around stereotypes, I would say that Seto Kaiba and his open models is a better chin.
That being said, okay, I will acknowledge what Jova said, that, yeah, it's in the book, and, the book was written a long time ago. I get that.
It's kind of like, fanciful English for essentially.
Sure,
Oh,
sure.
you have the
Jason
right.
Isaacs with a topper.
That being said, I will also agree with the other. With some
She's
of the other
reading
adaptations.
War of Awards?
Yep.
I will actually also agree with some of the other adaptations of this story in movies that seem to have left that out, because that's all about adapting something is all about updating the script to leave out any outdated notions and stuff like that would confuse modern audiences, and I think that leaving that in wasn't exactly necessary.
Tinkerbell, can you please don't? My God.
Yeah, well, Tinkerbell is a bitch anyway. That's kind of
I know, but apparently here she's more of a cat than anything. But who she's played by?
Nothing. It's just a fairy in my lamp. Okay, whatever.
Well. I wonder if it would be a step up from Pan, where Tinkerbell was played by CGI.
Oh, much better here. This movie is basically a combination of practical effects and digital ones.
Or if you want to compare, actual person to actual person, how much different this will be from who played her in Hook?
Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
So actually,
Julia Roberts, who apparently behaved so well on set, Spielberg don't want to work with her again.
That's Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell?
No,
not this one. That's what I kept asking now, like who she's played by in this movie.
Right.
Hey, look, it's that boss fight from Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, to be fair, to be fair, the shadow effects are not that bad. They look fine.
Also, for those of you wondering, Jeremy Sumpter actually did do most of his own stunts in this movie. It's like
Tinkerbell is played by Ludivine Sagnier.
I think I heard that.
She's a French actress who was in again a lot of French movies, obviously, because French.
Well, as for what you were saying, there's about the CGI. Well, the upcoming Disney live-action remake might do that. So.
Wait, they're making another Peter Pan movie?
Well, it's called Peter Pan and Wendy, but yeah.
However, that being said, it's being made by the guy who did the Pete's Dragon remake, so it might actually turn out good.
Poor woman's gonna be afraid of her own shadow by the end of this movie.
This is not a bad prompt for a horror movie. You cannot even trust your own shadow.
Speaking of which, yeah. So yeah, needless to say, this does not bode well.
All right, I might as well say, because I never really cared much for this kid as in the role. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to hate on the kid or anything. I don't know against the kid person or anything. I just think a lot of times a lot of times his facial acting could use improvement.
He looks awfully familiar. No. Oh God! It looks like they would have casted him as young Anakin instead of whatever that one kid was.
I think Christensen.
No. He's talking about
Jake
kid.
Lloyd.
Jake Lloyd. Yeah.
I will say
she even introduces herself. She even introduces herself the same way she does in Hook.
I kind of ran away from her in my baby carriage.
That was weird.
Get away from me! You have cuties or something.
Oh yeah, I mentioned the whole this film was made in Australia thing. We're going to see Hook's crew later on, and a lot of them are actually, even though they put on British accents, they're actually either Australia or from New Zealand.
I guess, to be fair, it's kind of fitting, seeing as how Britain pretty much ousted most of their criminals to Australia.
Well, there's
the pirate speak is actually much more similar to, say, the Australian accent lives anyway. So,
although in another slightly less major example, 2003 was when they actually started filming Power Rangers in New Zealand. So it's not like they weren't used to playing different nationalities than themselves.
Hold on. What is she sewing the shadow to? His feet?
Yeah, apparently, she does that in the Disney animated version as well.
So she just pierces his feet with a needle? Because in the Disney movie, she sews it to the shoes. But
Oh, true. He had shoes in the leasing version.
Yeah, like so she literally just, sprinkled his feet with a needle or something, and apparently that didn't hurt.
Well, he's kind of immortal, so he'll be fine.
Oh, but he still feels pain, doesn't he?
Yeah, but when it comes to a shadow, it's fine.
And his feet, apparently.
Also, I love that bit. One girl is more than 20 boys.
Peter, you're being awfully
Personal
creepy right
space.
now. Yeah, exactly. Wait, what?
Symbolism.
Is it?
It's a heart shape, so.
Oh.
Joe, but I did not ask for timing.
Timing. Oh, here you go. See, this is the kiss scene that most people remember. The thimble scene. It's one of the most iconic scenes in the story. There you go. See.
Now I can play Monopoly properly.
With a kiss!
I prefer the flask of wine.
How does this work?
He's poor boy. No. No.
There you go.
What are you, cheap?
You have an acorn.
I can't make the
Not
joke.
sure what this is supposed to be.
So, Joe, a question.
Look, Desdes. He just gave her his nut. It's okay. And just like
while Dad cries in the corner, Jovo, how old is Wendy in this movie?
Preteen-ish, kinda.
So 12, basically.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Also, and why is it every single time he's just standing still, he poses like he's bloody Superman?
Basically, you remember the rule. Don't say there's no such thing as you-know-what, otherwise, when you do say it, a fairy dies.
That's actually how Peter Pan is, Wibs. He does that in the Disney movie, he does that in Peter Pan and the Pirates. That's usually how he's characterized.
And then...
Man, she's thirsty as fuck, isn't she?
I know that is definitely
the time period of this.
I know that's definitely what it's coming off of like, but do trust me, there is actually a very good point to all this. Let's just say this movie, despite being PG, is very more mature, and I don't mean it like, oh, saucy fanfic bad stuff.
Tink was murderous in that face.
That's something we have to remember. Tinkerbell was not exactly a nice person. Like, hell, literally her cat... Literally, her catchphrase is "you silly ass."
Yeah.
Wait, what?
In the book. In the book, yeah.
What was that gesture symbolizing? Confetti spraying from her?
Well, sparks flying, a kiss, essentially.
Well, like Jova said, apparently in old England, "you silly ass" was considered a perfectly child-friendly line. So
it's even in one of the Shakespeare.
It's even a kiss him so bad though.
It's even a Shakespeare quote. Truly, I am such an ass.
They just met.
Yeah.
Okay. To be fair, they're literally two preteen kids. Puberty be a thing here. Again, this is actually kind of a point later on in the movie as well. But I'll touch base on that when it becomes more prevalent.
Not just that, Shiroi, but to be fair, this is just a convention of the story in general. I mean, if they don't go with them, there's no story.
Where's their glasses when they're asleep?
Well, people who fall asleep with their glasses on.
I know, my mom does that, but still.
Well, you just answered your own question.
Well, I mean, okay, it's better. Okay, some of the green screen is a bit obvious, but at least it's better than the Pan, where they just had him, where every time he was floating, he was just CGI.
Ah, isn't that nice? A movie in 2015 being outdone by a movie in 2003.
It actually happened. Well, I can also bring Return of the King for that. It's not like it's that uncommon.
Oof.
And you should have his head. He should have broken his neck from doing that. But
sadly, he didn't stick the landing.
Let's try that again.
This is another thing that I never understood in either versions of the story. Like, Peter is such a dick because why can't you just mention from the get-go that you need pixie dust first?
Well, yeah, I guess, funnily enough, in the Disney version, it's because he apparently forgot, despite the fact that that's what he's been doing his entire life.
I'm guessing Disney was all like, add in that he forgot to justify it. But in here, they just stuck more closer to the
So it's kind of like Game of Thrones Season 8, where Peter kind of forgot about the rule of his own land. What about Mother?
Fuck parents, let's go!
So,
Yeah,
question.
besides,
Why is
your parents are either
Tinkerbell
extremely strict or really creepy. So.
Oh, pirates, I'm sold.
So why is Tinkerbell so overprotective towards Peter?
Well, it's kind of...
Considering this is a prequel to Hook, kind of, it's because she has the hots for him.
I say boy true.
Wait,
Excuse me, sir. I just saw your kid flying.
Oh, don't worry, Dwibs. Don't worry, Dwibs. We'll get to that scene later.
I haven't seen Hook, so I'm just curious.
Okay. Normally, in most iterations, it's because Tinkerbell has a crush on Peter Pan herself, or she wants him to herself.
That was a Beethoven joke. What the fuck?
Okay.
Isaac died, I guess.
Nah.
You can fly.
Okay, so here's where I now bring up that soundtrack here and there. As I mentioned, James Newton Howard was actually the composer for the score of this movie. If there's one thing people did know about, it was the score.
That's not creepy at all.
Kind of feels weird.
Beep, beep, beep.
Did your parents never warn you about stranger danger?
Hey! Stranger danger is for when it's a grown
She came
adult.
him first, okay?
Oh my god, we need the dramatic slow-mo. Like, this is fucking Harry Potter 2 and the Dursleys are impeding him to go away.
Okay, here we go.
Well,
true.
Oh my god, the movie even admitted that.
Our children just got kidnapped, okay?
Don't worry, yeah.
Don't worry, they're having fun.
Oh, okay. I will say that the green screen hasn't aged completely well.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like they're flying in a really early Pixar.
Oh,
it's weird. In some occasions, it seems to be working better. Other times, no. It's inconsistent.
By Jove, are those the Darling kids flying? This is almost as insane as when that giant ship flew out during World War II.
We don't talk about that, sir.
Yes, let us never say it again.
Clouds. Oh, and they go into space.
Oh, hey, Pluto!
Shut up, Jova. It's still a planet.
I can't breathe!
Shouldn't they be dying right now?
To be fair, magic pixie dust, so let's say that it gives them air breathing.
Magical breathing powers.
Does the book ever establish that pixie dust allows you to breathe in space?
To be fair, it kind of did that with Pan as well, so...
Hey, Joe, we don't have to explain it. It's magic.
Okay. To be fair, Pedro, let's not forget that you have to go there by going to the second star, so...
Oh, we're applying hyperspace now.
I mean...
Never tell me the odds.
Whee! I mean, when we consider the fact that you have to go to a star, you have to go through space anyway.
He said don't let go, and they all let go.
No, it's okay. They entered the star. Now it's fine. But yeah, about the score here. The score was...
Here, singing?
No.
I'm guessing not. Aww. Go ahead.
Anyway, the score is widely recognized. Chances are you may have heard the score. Why? Because everyone and their mother wanted to use the score. It was so big that even Disney licensed out the music from this movie to be used in some of their own movies and adverts, especially those for their Disney World ones.
Wow, it looks just like a painting.
I know, right?
Now, one thing they do take...
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, roll back!
So here's one thing it does take from the lore here.
What? What the fuck? What the fuck happened? Why is Hook's galleon frozen.
Here's the thing. Here's how Neverland works. Neverland is tied to Peter Pan here and there. So, you know, when Peter Pan comes back, essentially it starts to warm up. But in his absence, it starts to become colder and more frigid here and there. It's sort of like a...
Sorry, go on.
It's sort of like a bout of them, you know, referencing this or that.
So what Baboskin impersonator have they got for me?
Let's see. Smee here is played by Richard Briers.
Ah, I heard you. Oop.
So Peter Pan is literally God on this land.
Doesn't surprise me too much.
It kind of
are you okay? Have you tried suicide again? Oh my god.
Don't you dare stop me, Smee. Don't you dare, Smee, try to stop me.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Another way that this feels like it is actually a prequel to Hook is that the way they model some of the characters does...
Yeah, Smee, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot with that.
Yeah.
Man, the pixel really must have tasted great, Hook. Yes, the last night.
By the way, Captain, why are you naked?
Oh wow!
It's for the ladies. Don't worry.
Remember to highlight his end. So.
Yeah, no, yeah, but I think this is one of the first adaptations that actually don't shy away from showing the amputation.
They actually do have a cool little harness and everything with how he locks it in and everything too.
What is this? Full Metal Alchemist?
So, here's a twist in this version. Hook actually does like having the hook because he can use it to comb his hair and disembowel anyone who rubs him the wrong way. He doesn't mind that Peter cut it off. What he does mind is that he fed it to a crocodile. And a pretty big one, too, as you'll see later.
Well, yeah, the crocodile is always big in pretty much all of the versions.
No, this one is like...
Yeah, the Disney version it was still relatively sized.
This one is like... Well, you'll see what I mean when we get to it.
Sure.
Well, actually, Joe brings up a good point because it's a kind of a prequel to Hook, so the crocodile in Hook was pretty large.
Yeah.
So...
That's how you can tell when Peter Pan is back. Basically, when things start to become more like spring and summer.
So what happens if Peter Pan dies? Oh, never mind, he's immortal.
Well, oh, no. He can die. It's more like, you know, he's got a bout of immortal youth, but he can still be killed.
Eternal youth.
Eternal youth, then.
Like that one guy from Justice League.
Yeah, immortal usually implies no death, so.
Yeah.
However, he can be, you know, killed by another person or whatnot.
Okay, so he has eternal youth. Okay.
Well,
if he's not immortal, if he's not immortal, then he should feel that pain in his feet or something. But whatever.
So since has it been confirmed that this is a prequel to Hook?
Well,
no, there's actually similar to one of the episodes from Peter Pan and the Pirates. Actually, there's an episode where they play in the clouds.
So. Oh yeah. Like I said, this one takes inspiration from all past iterations at the time. It
wasn't your. Oof. So actually, who voices the parrot? I wonder.
Let me see.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Nah, it's not screeching enough.
Huh. Doesn't say.
My.
That said, though, in case you're wondering, the parrot is actually an animatronic, not a digital bit.
That. It's a fucking mortar. Yeah, not sure it's a good idea.
Oh, don't worry, Tinkerbell will take care of Wendy.
Oh,
indeed.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Well, that's what she also tries to kill Wendy in the book. So.
Wow. Well, that's gonna take like 2 months to repair at least.
It's an extremely markable character.
Wait, who?
It's the shit out of me, Edge, Tinkerbell. She has her
Oh,
own spin-off direct-to-video movie franchise.
although apparently she may have waned in popularity because nowadays her spin-off franchise is kind of dead now.
Good.
Not just that. To be fair, in the Disney version of Peter Pan, Tinker does mellow out by the end of it.
Yeah, by the end of it, but it doesn't feel earned.
Well, yeah.
Ooh.
Wow. Rated PG, bring the kids and everything. Yeah. One thing they went for with Hook is that they
definitely no one dies in Neverland. That's BS.
No.
False advertising.
Where's Jake and the Neverland Pirates?
So Jova, is Fudbutt in this movie as well?
Hey.
I think he may be, but I don't know what they call him by name.
This movie seriously needs to stop with the close-ups.
And by the way, I'm not kidding, Deji. One of the Lost Boys in Hook is called Fudbutt.
Huh. You know, I've never seen Hook before.
It's a pretty good movie. It has some silly bits here and there, but
it's flawed, but it has a lot of good stuff in it as well.
So, is it about Captain Hook or?
No, it's a sequel to the original story.
Oh, well,
it's basically written off of the concept of what if Peter Pan grew up. That's basically it.
Okay. You could argue that it is about Hook, but it's also about Peter Pan as well. Basically, Dej, Hook is essentially a sequel to the Peter Pan lore here and there.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
It basically rolls down the what if scenario. What if Peter Pan grew up?
My god, even draws a target. Do a better roll.
And she should be dead, but
Got him. No shit.
oh, Toodles.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Wait, is he mentioning Cinderella?
Oh, well, because he would listen to the stories that Wendy would tell her brothers, and one of them was the story about Cinderella defeating the pirates.
I didn't invent. I was electrical.
Tinkerbell told me.
What?
But how, you may ask? Well,
Yes, it hit the necklace or whatever.
She busted a nut! No! God!
What the
Dej, why?
A toast to you, sir.
That's a joke! But stay holding that up for like 10 minutes.
Good night,
Family fun for everyone.
Look, in my defense, that's looked like what they were going for the whole
I'm gonna
time.
say, at least for the moment, this is still actually much more acceptable than Moonrise Kingdom.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What's
That being
the...
said- it's a very terrible movie, Joe, but don't worry. One of these days I'll get you in a generation since Teo doesn't want to touch that movie ever again.
No.
Oh, I get that, but I mean,
Much
but... So what's like the connection between this and Moonrise Kingdom?
Basically, Jova, there's two preteen kids, and the boy literally out of nowhere grabs the girl's breast, and that's all you need to know for now.
It's an attempt to try to create a romantic teen story, and it doesn't work. My God, Tinkerbell. Yeah, you're getting away very nice for now.
I love how they went full cartoon there by having her turn red.
Sorry,
Like a devil.
What was the movie you were referring to just then?
Moonrise Kingdom.
Kingdom.
Oh yeah, that film is apparently charming.
That being said, it's also quite comparable because this is literally a bunch of preteen boys looking. Oh, look, a girl! What is this thing? What does it do? Can you play
What's
with
a
it?
girl?
Can you play with it?
Yeah, all
Can you
of them
kill it?
have all of them collectively have that scene at the end of Inside Out where the brain basically melts. Grr,
It's a
grr,
doctor. It's a
grr.
doctor and teacher tricks. That's your reaction to this?
What are you, a Studio
Yes.
Ghibli protagonist?
Kinda. I mean, she's a
Yes,
kid
they
flung into a mystical situation, so...
Jova, last I checked, it was Tatsunoko who made the Peter Pan anime, not Ghibli.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know experience. Well, can you tell stories? Yes, you can. Well, that's all. That's all you need.
Good enough.
Good enough. No need to feed or cook or take care of us or anything. So,
What?
well, to be fair to it, that's not where they live. They live in a tree.
No, the terminology they used. Oh, shit. Oof.
What?
Okay, the idea...
I get the idea some of these lines are quoted verbatim from the book without
Okay.
too much context.
Okay. To be fair, think about it like this. It's basically those words being said through the eyes of a child, essentially. As adults, we get the extra connotations there. But the idea is that the kids, well, that's what they think parenting is like.
So you're telling me, Jova, that essentially this is a slightly more neutered down version of Lord of the Flies.
Pretty much, yeah. Think about it like, if there's one thing I do like about this adaptation, it does actually expand on, the follies of immortal childhood, or essentially here and there. Especially seeing as how Peter, unfortunately, is, well, stunted not only, physically, but also
Oh my
emotionally.
God, seriously?
What?
You forgot the brothers.
Yeah.
Well, again, like a kid would at that point, he's not exactly that good with his attention.
Not just that, like I said, the original characterization, Peter Pan is a fucking asshole. Let's face it.
But can you understand the method to his madness?
Yes.
It's that where the stories were trying to go for.
Well, technically, I said asshole, not mad.
I don't
yeah.
think it's a rock.
Yeah, but like, can you understand why he's an asshole? That's what.
Well, yeah, like Jova said, he's a kid. He never had proper parents to
Yeah,
raise
I
him.
don't think it's a rock.
I understand the context. Don't worry.
Definitely not a rock.
Whoop.
Oh. That's what you have to say about it.
Okay, how far are we into this movie?
40 minutes.
Oh boy!
40
Let's see how this movie tackles
Okay.
the natives.
Okay. So this movie did something unbelievable, something astonishing with the
It actually
natives.
casted natives as the natives.
Yes, it actually cast the Native Americans as the natives. By
Wow.
God, what a genius and unbelievable outcome!
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that's ridiculous. They would never do that.
This is, again, okay, I know it's an obvious one, but I cannot fathom how many adaptations don't think to just, cast natives as the natives. Seriously, first there was the Disney movie, which is a whole boatload of awkwardness, and then there's the goddamn Pan movie, which does... Well, first off, it makes Tiger Lily white and in love with Hook, so that's a problem.
I get the idea that when Spielberg made Hook, he decided to cut them away to avoid these kind of problems.
Oh, Des, you want to know what's awkward? In Pan actually ships this girl with Hook. That's Tiger Lily.
Mm-hmm.
By ship, you mean
Yes.
they're a couple?
Yes, they're actually a
And
couple.
no, not
in
ships
Pan.
as in boats. We mean like shipping
Okay,
ships.
because pirates and whatnot. So I need
Okay,
to make
movie,
sure.
start with the close-ups,
You wish
please.
it was the boats, but
Was
no,
PG
Jova.
Hogan
I
a-
think they do think about it. They just don't bother. All things
no.
considered.
Okay,
I know where this is going. They're gonna go dive in the water while Soteki Dane plays.
Jova, question: Is PJ Hogan a pseudonym for M. Night Shyamalan or something? What's with all these close-ups?
It's a dynamic sense of directing, and don't get me wrong, I get why directors do it, but it's not always the best. Now, one thing that's different about Peter from, the Disney version to this version, in this version, he actually does warn Wendy that mermaids will drown you. They're not very kind. Unfortunately, they're also mesmerizing, too.
Yeah.
Skate! Cat!
Be gone. Oh.
Bad mermaid.
Oh no, they're going to Azkaban.
What the fuck is this? With
X?
Black Castle?
Oh, the Azkaban looks quite different.
Well, to be fair, the Black Castle also exists in other versions.
Mm. Okay, it's been a very long time since I watched the Tatsunoko anime, so it probably was there. Then again, if I recall correctly, that anime also had a dragon in it, so...
Remember too. This castle actually shows up in Birth by Sleep, in Ventus, in one of the free campaigns.
That's Skull Rock.
Also, guys, it's funny.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it is.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No.
But you don't have top hats. Well, actually, no. John.
Yeah, let me quote Bane for this. Admirable, but mistaken.
All right.
Anyway, so...
No, not even the Ted,
It's gonna kill them heavy rain style.
Well, who keeps being a fucking camper?
Damn, that's cold. So, it's funny you mentioned Harry Potter. There's actually a bit of a casting gag here. So, get this.
Is Captain Hook Sirius Black?
No, it says Isaac Malfoy Sr.
Yeah, he's Lucius Malfoy. However, it's more interesting in the Italian dub. See, in the Italian dub, Peter is played by the boy who plays Harry.
Makes sense.
It gets better. Wendy is played by the girl who plays Luna Lovegood. John is played by the boy who plays Draco Malfoy. And Hook is played by the guy who dubs Hagrid.
So if I understood correctly, the Italian dub of this movie is basically a big Harry Potter reunion.
Don't think it's too much of a coincidence. All these people get recycled all the time for these kind of kids movies.
It looks like that guy out of that. He looks like that guy out of that movie. He looks like the Go Montoya guy a little bit.
But I don't know. That kind of voice actor being cast for this version of Hook makes sense because he specializes in over the topness.
Mm-hmm.
Behind you, isn't it? Oh.
It's like a pantomime now. It's behind you.
It's not a cat. You're fired. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, Lieutenant Redshirt! No! He was such a compelling character! An idiot. Yeah, let's go with that.
Also, apparently Peter can change his voice.
Well, this
Is
is
that like a
actually
20 question thing?
Yeah.
this is a thing in all versions anyway. This.
Just ask him a different question and see if he changes his answer. Yeah. What's your
Oh,
name?
Slav.
No.
Hmm.
I love how this is built up as already like the climax of the movie, but we're only halfway through.
Oh yeah. The
That
action
would be
scene.
insanely rushed.
The action scenes are actually pretty good for this movie. Like I said, Jeremy Sumpter did do most of his own stunts here and there. Now, there's a bit of a fun fact here, though. Yeah. Unfortunately, during the making of this movie, Jeremy Sumpter...
Yes,
Well,
John?
the fact that I'm both an adult and you're a little girl, so yeah, girly seems appropriate for the situation. I mean,
Oh, snap.
No, not the teddy.
no, not that. Wow, he. Remember, kids, if an opponent is up to you, just kick him in.
Well,
I mean, whatever works.
Watch
okay.
this.
Why are all the little girls in this
What?
movie horny as fuck?
Oh!
Why would you shoot the sword and not her?
Well, because Hook might want her alive later on.
yeah, the power of boner makes him stronger. Oh my god.
Don't you see, the power of hormones gives you power, I guess.
I mean, duh.
That
Haven't you heard
is
the
not how
term love makes
testosterone
you do
works.
stupid things? We have to show Pedro the Billy and Mandy movie, so he gets it.
Pull. Oh, it's Annette.
Personally, I was never a big fan of that show, but sure, if you want.
How dare?
What show?
Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy.
Yeah. I think Maxwell Adams was much better in his writing for I Am Weasel, personally.
Ah, so you did right. Yeah. But wait, you guys mentioned since this was a Sony movie released on Christmas, they haven't learned their lesson because they were trying to release Monster Hunter during Christmas.
Well, I think there's a bit of a difference. This time it's Christmas during a pandemic.
I don't know, but still, why would you release a movie during Christmas though? And that makes it worse, Delips.
You will die. Oh my god, it's like Palpatine.
Now, young Pan, you will die. Oh my god, it's literally the line from Hook.
Well, and Pan,
Wait
this
a
time
minute.
Pan as well.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
You could still have killed him there.
Oh,
you know that, right?
Jesus Christ.
Like I said,
It's fucking Godzilla.
they pretty much they buffed the crocodile for this also. You gotta love how the one thing they fear more than Hook is the crocodile.
That is not a crocodile, that's a kaiju monster. Like,
I did warn you that the crocodile was pretty big. Using a gun against the dead, crocodiles have been known to withstand bullets, and considering how
at Peter.
Peter doesn't have a gun.
It's not the time to break the fourth wall.
I love that.
Why are you looking at me?
It's weird. This movie, at times, it seems like it's trying to be a
More
bit...
cartoonish, yeah.
But at the same time, there are other scenes where it's better trying to be a bit more grounded, so I'm a bit confused at the tone.
Well, okay. It's cartoonish when the story permits it, but overall, the idea for this is to be a more nuanced take and, look into the character study of Peter Pan, essentially, here and there. The more grown-up stuff is in studying Peter's stuff. We do still get to have silly antics here and there, though.
Oh.
Legit heartwarming. Also, yeah, by proxy, this is already one of the best adaptations because it actually knows how to handle the damn Native Americans.
Yay!
Well, Joe, what do you mean? The obvious solution is to have every race be the natives.
And yet they still made Tiger Lily white as a sheet in that movie.
So,
don't get me wrong, Rooney Mara's a good actress, but come on. Oh, by the way, just in case you're wondering, according to Pan, Peter is actually the result of a human and a fairy having sex.
Yeah. He's not just, it's not just a human that was whisked away from Earth. No. She's the chosen one.
Yeah. He's literally Dante if Dante were part fairy instead of part demon.
Fuck you.
No. Instead of being Wahoo pizza, whatnot.
Being
kidnapping kids.
The crazy man, that.
Also, I'm pretty sure he didn't see his mom get murdered.
Yeah.
And he didn't have issues with his twin brother.
True. Is there a version of Peter Pan who has an evil twin brother, I wonder?
I don't know.
Well, there is in an episode of Peter Pan and the Pirates where there's an evil reflection, if that counts.
I'd say his shadow is pretty much his evil twin brother.
Yeah, if I had to guess, yeah.
Quick, Jopa, we need to pitch a Peter Pan Devil May Cry story to Hollywood.
Yes! That would actually be legit awesome.
Also has to be a Christmas story.
Huh.
The fight for more power.
That could be a bit challenging, but I think we can make something work of that.
So it's a whimsical moment. I cannot intervene.
What? Why did you say that in this context?
You'll see.
Oh, I get it.
These two have kindred spirits in jealousy. Oh my god.
This is one thing about Hook, though. He is a master manipulator when he needs to be. They really up that up by making him, well, shall we say, a very, very, very good, well, he does come off as a kindred spirit, actually. It's part of the trick.
You see, Miss Bell, it seems you and I have a common enemy.
Oh.
Mind the fact that I already tried to kill you and Peter a million times by this point, I'm sure you can still trust me regardless.
This is like if the Joker had to team up with Batgirl.
To be fair, Tinkerbell, Tinkerbell did kind of work with Hook even in other versions too as well.
I think the book also did that too.
As did the Disney movie.
Yeah,
I'm curious though.
I guess Tinkerbell is just that dumb too.
Well, okay. It's not so much her being dumb; it's more so her being blinded by her jealousy.
I guess, sure. Yes, Deji?
What is Captain Hook's motive? Why does he hate Peter so much?
Basically, he hates
crocodile.
Yeah,
but and even before that.
Well, okay. Before that, Peter was just, your typical boy who would fight with the pirates every now and then. But one of those occasions, he cut off Hook's hand, essentially. Hook really hates him and actually made it personal because he fed the hand to a crocodile who has never since let up.
How do you know it's Hook? It couldn't be just an animal that's
Sixth sense.
No. He doesn't know that Hook's there. He was associating Hook with some of the feelings that Wendy is talking about. Here's where we get to it. Yes, this movie does deal with stuff like puberty and one's growing sexuality as they grow up. But one thing the movie does point base on is like, well, for all the dirty jokes we've cracked and everything, to Peter, it really is all just a game. And he is legit terrified at the idea of taking on more emotions because he feels that if he takes on those emotions, he's essentially growing up.
Yep.
And this is one thing I really do like about this version. Yeah, we joke, but it does actually show some of the follies of not accepting growing up here and there. You literally become emotionally repressed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I can't believe the injustice.
Oh my god, he is Dante.
I can't believe the injustice comic quoted that line.
I do, however, find it still really interesting how freaking horny all the preteen girls in this movie are.
Puberty. That can pretty much be answered by puberty.
I guess.
Oh, trust me. I know all that song and dance from back in the day.
Oh my god, we're actually checking up with the parents.
Yep. Let's just say that they haven't taken their kids' disappearance all that well.
Gee, I wonder why.
So this is a more down-to-earth Peter Pan.
Yes, overall.
Well, that's down to if you can get.
Well, what I mean is like it plays it straight.
Well, if it helps you, Dwibs and Deji, Peter Pan and the Pirates did that, in my opinion, excellently in terms of having both serious stuff and still having the adventurous, fun element.
Nah, Pedro, what we really need is a movie where Peter Pan is actually a code name for like a flying machine.
This is what happens when you put the dog outside.
Yeah, exactly. I still, seriously, I'm sure that, you know what, that's one of those cases where I'm just as offended as you by the way these people treat their dog.
Actually, okay, it's funny you mention that because in a set of deleted scenes, they actually did retain a very funny aspect from the book where, let's just say Mr. Darling kind of atones for treating Nana the way he did. However, I won't spoil that because we will be seeing those deleted scenes after this movie anyway.
Sure.
So
it's yet another one of those scenes that sadly should have been included probably just for the sake of tying up those loose ends.
I would... Well, okay, it's technically not a loose end, but I do agree that they should have included it in the actual theatrical cut.
I think I saw this scene in one of the trailers, actually. Oh, no, actually, no, I think.
So Tinkerbell let Hook know where Wendy's house is so that Hook could, pick her up.
He took the house, like...
Yep. You gotta admit, it takes quite a bit of talent to be able to play with a hook.
Well, I'm assuming the songs he composes are made with the fact that he only has one hook in that hand in mind.
Yeah, well,
Probably.
It's more so that Hook really has the talent from what I've seen.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Joe. Like, he's talented enough to the point of being able to compose a song that takes in fact the fact that he has a hook.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like she caught herself in a real tinker this time, huh?
Also, why the fuck was Hook having that vial potion with Hades used to turn Hercules into a mortal? I don't know. Like the shape and the skull bottle was looking identical.
That is a weird cup you have there.
It's a seashell cup, it seems.
Oh no, it's
practical.
It's Demolition Man all over again. Dude.
I mean, he's only being nice. Even if he is.
But he just offered her a cigar.
Yeah, he's not all there. He doesn't quite understand.
Times have changed. Sorry.
Red-handed Jill?
What is that a reference to?
Nothing in particular. That's just what she would fancy calling herself as a pirate.
Interesting.
I probably asked this question already in the past, but just for a reminder, has Jason Isaac ever played a good guy?
I think... Oh yeah, he played Superman.
Fair enough.
Red-handed Jill. You know what, Joe? Now that I think about red-handed Jill, that sounds like a name a spirit writing free character would have.
Wait. Hold on. Who's the name that you were talking about?
Jason Isaacs.
The guy who plays Hook.
Wait, that's Superman from Superman Returns?
No.
That's rough.
Oh, sorry. It's been a long day.
So basically, Hook has promised that, to keep the trust, none of his men will follow her to Peter's hideout. And he actually does keep that promise. None of his men will follow her.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, probably the parents will.
Oh, let me guess. He says none of his men will follow her.
Yeah, the parents did.
But he'll follow her by saying, hey, I promised none of my men would follow her.
Also, that parrot needs something else to eat.
This is another thing that they do bring in. That the longer you stay in Neverland, the more forgetful you become.
Yeah, this is something that I actually know from the book. That at some point, Peter actually manages to kill Hook, and then he starts forgetting about him, and it's super depressing.
Hell, even Tinkerbell ends up vanishing because she got forgotten.
And nothing of value was lost.
Damn.
I don't like Tinkerbell, okay?
Well, which one? From which version?
I guess, to be fair, Tinkerbell in general does tend to, be borderline a bad guy. Oh.
Like, if she was just a troll, I could deal with that. But it's like,
oh boy.
Oh boy.
Wait, is that who Starlo is based off of?
Fuck off then, I'm gonna kill you then. Seriously, what the hell?
I'm going to download full movies onto YouTube and no one will be able to stop me.
I thought it was wrong to download a car.
It's interesting you said that, Joe, because there's a 10-part upload of this entire movie on YouTube when I was searching.
Because of course.
Wow.
That's how.
No. She's going to
That's the interesting thing, Joe. Even Paramount.
Sorry. Movies.
You were saying, Fraser?
That's the interesting thing, Joe. But even Sony apparently forgot this movie's existence because they allow it on YouTube.
Which is weird because you can actually buy and rent the full thing on YouTube, so they remember.
As doing currently.
So they did remember to put it on there in some case.
I guess they didn't care.
The bots haven't found it yet. It's a matter of that.
That's the thing, too. Those uploads were there since 2012.
Wow.
One thing I actually do,
I got my girlfriend here.
One thing
it wouldn't work out, man.
One thing I do appreciate about this adaptation is like, well, it has quite possibly some of the best flow to how things occur. Like, in a lot of versions, it's just, they kind of decide, oh, yeah, we should go back home. But, no, here they actually do provide a proper reason for that in that regard here and there. Nah. I love how...
Elaborate what the reasoning is?
Well, it's because they're forgetting their parents, and, well, Wendy has realized, the folly of not growing up here. You don't grow up, you can't understand certain things. Also, I love his final outfit here. It's glorious.
Yeah, one thing that I was mentioning in the beginning, from some of the screenshots that I had seen, and I can confirm that now, the aesthetics of this movie are actually on point.
Yeah. They hit just that right peak of, strange and bizarre, but also feeling grounded enough. It doesn't go
Peter's outfit makes more sense than anything, because, of course, guy who lives in the forest, would, of course, be wearing twigs.
Mm-hmm. And, considering how, according to Hook, he escaped as a baby, kind of would understand why he had to be more, liberal with his stuff.
Oh, it really is a prequel to Hook.
Joke's on you, you're gonna grow up to be Robin Williams.
How is this a bad thing?
Mr. I'll make a man out of you.
Merely pretending.
Wait, does the person who plays Wendy in the Hook voice Mulan, or...
No. It's
because you were like, wait. What?
Don't let the parrot eat lobster. It's not good for it.
Well, she said she was. Remember, Peter just said, "Don't make a man out of me."
Okay, so.
I love how the parrot actually has a peg leg himself.
Again, it's all emaciated.
Is the parrot stop motion?
No. It's an animatronic.
It's animatronic.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Well, that bird's gonna starve to death in there. Happy thoughts, kids.
Considering how emaciated it looks, I think it's just a mercy kill. Oh.
Every time.
Oh no, not the king of the fairies.
Why didn't he just say that's Tinkerbell?
They even bring back this thing.
The whole, you say fairies don't exist, it kills the fairy thing.
Yeah, just say that's a Tinkerbell. Enter.
Well, I mean, it happened in the second movie for the Disney adaptation. So.
Okay, so this is also another thing taken from the book, which the Disney movie kind of went over instead. As you recall, in the Disney version, Hook just tries to blow up Peter Pan. Why? Well, because he promised that, he wouldn't harm Peter physically. He wouldn't lay a hand or a hook, as he promised Tinkerbell. In this version, though, he made no such promise.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, this actually was in the trailer, I remember that. That's the scene I was remembering. You cut it out.
So now Hook can finally kill Peter.
And the rest.
There's just one little problem, though. Because the hole was made for kids, Hook can't really fit through.
Oh.
Use your gun.
Yeah, don't you have one of those?
I get the idea that the gun that he used before was too long to
yeah.
as well. He doesn't have a regular flintlock.
But, for those who have read the book, Hook's gonna use the next best thing. Poison.
Yeah, there you go. See, Jova, that's the vial from when Hades used it.
We know it's poison
because it's got a skull on it.
Basically,
poisoning by poison.
Basically,
Yes, you gotta turn a little tyke. Mortal.
Basically, the poison is made from Hook's own tears. That's right, Hook is that toxic of a person that when he cries poison.
Damn.
That must be a real inconvenience.
Oh, it's okay, he's immune to his own poison.
You hope so.
Sorry, Peter, she's gone. You blew it, man. That said, maybe he can do right for her by at least drinking his medicine like she requested.
That's smart. Oh, so he's still gonna die in this version?
Good!
Oh no. Oh, dweebs, let me use this. Oh no! Anyway.
She was the greatest hero of them all.
Sacrifices have to be made.
You're so convinced that...
Wait, hold on. Det has a point. She was the best summon to have in Kingdom Hearts 1.
True.
Yeah,
But now we'll never know what that's like.
But that's the thing.
The only summon I used in Kingdom Hearts 2 was Chicken Little.
No, I said Kingdom Hearts 1.
I know. In Hearts 1, she's your auto life. So... Oh, and the lighting rather changed all of a sudden.
Remember, Pedro, God had the filter ready like that.
So here's the thing. If
only Page Master level of abrupt.
So here's the thing. If Peter were to die or be incredibly upset, Neverland becomes a lot more cold and harsh.
Oh, yeah, he's right. Yeah, it makes sense that then.
Aw, that's nice of Hook. He at least did still offer her the position.
I'm actually curious right now. Let me check this.
You know what to say this? This is one of the best Disney live-action adaptations that we never got.
From Disney.
It's not from Disney, as that's my point.
Well, hopefully David Lowery would do.
Give it a few years. Okay, I'm gonna use the joke that normally Dweebs and Deji would use. Give it a few years so Disney can buy Sony in-game property of this movie as well.
Oh god, can you imagine? Then that would mean they own several versions of Peter Pan.
That's not confusing at all.
Well, they already own Peter Pan and the Pirates, too.
So, now that Pan, as far as they know, is dead, they can sail at last and leave.
It's too late. Their brains are conditioned so that it will kill them because it was that shocking.
Oh no!
And before you ask, no, the tears do not bring her back to life.
Oh, thank fuck.
Thank God. Well, we know
I believe in Santa Christ.
So we can just enjoy the moment.
Nope, I did nothing.
This is also something taken from the actual story, and hell, even brought in stage plays. The whole clap your hands if you believe in all that.
You believe in fairies, don't you, kids?
Well, if you believe, clap your hands.
Is a finger and
claps their hands is getting kicked out.
Oh my god, are you fucking serious?
So this somehow gets all the children of the world to say this. Oh, no, everyone!
Why did you say that?
Okay, I gotta be honest, I feel so sorry for Mr. Darling in this version.
He's trying his best, yet he gets screwed over by stuff he can't control.
I thought Peter Pan's magic were only applied to Neverland. How come it's only so?
Well, okay.
Because hearts.
Yeah, okay.
Spread across the Kingdom Hearts of Space.
Don't even try.
As was mentioned in the original story, he essentially reaches out to everyone, well, mainly the kids out in the world, via their dreams or whatnot, to try and help will Tinkerbell back to life by saying that they do believe in fairies. In stage plays, it usually is, saying you believe in fairies while also clapping your hands as well.
I guess.
And all of you seek to resurrect a single one.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Hooray! Tinkerbell's alive.
Don't worry, she's better now.
Isn't it happy?
Is she gonna behave?
Well, that's usually how it is. Yeah, by this point she does start. Yeah.
She atones for her sins, I guess.
This does not please Hook. Also,
look, just kill everybody on board.
And now it's personal.
Also, if you look closely and notice, you'll notice that Peter's sword for this scene, it has the same handle that his sword and Hook had as well.
Honestly, Java, considering all these Easter eggs, I'm genuinely surprised that they didn't put a younger version of Rufio as one of the Lost Boys.
Well, I think the idea is that Rufio comes from a more modern time when he became a Lost Boy, especially since that short film Bangarang seems to suggest such. Yes, for those who don't know, Dante Basco actually did make a short film dedicated to Rufio called Bangarang. Ooh. Yeah, okay, I love the dark comedy with Hook in this.
Yeah, they're clearly emulating Hook's comedy, yeah.
Oh, this bit, I love this bit. Coming up. Wait, listen.
You're dead for being creepy.
I love it. Quite exciting. 2 dead already, says Smee.
Like, between Hook and this, are these movies imply that Smee is more like a supernatural entity that is presiding over the events?
Maybe. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, and Cinderella. Wait a minute. Are you name dropping Disney princesses on purpose there?
Okay.
Beep, beep, beep.
No. He's talking about how Peter may feel for Wendy.
That and pixie dust.
No, you don't tell him that part, though.
Basically, yeah. Lack of happy thoughts will bring you down.
So that old man, I don't know why, but he kind of reminds me of Robin Williams.
Which one?
The one with glasses.
It's me.
Yeah.
Alright, I don't think this film's bad or anything. But to be honest, I think there is a pretty good reason why people watched Return of the King instead.
Well, I mean, it was flipping Return of the King. Like, don't get me wrong. I like this movie. I like it a lot. But I could definitely understand why you may be more excited to see Return of the King.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that shot just then, a bit early, it resembled a shot from Pan. Or to be more accurate, a shot from Pan resembled that one just.
Come to think about it, guys, if we did consider this a sequel to Pan...
Hold on. Yeah, I don't hear it either.
No.
No splash. Sorry.
Captain, no splash.
What a sound.
Yeah, I'm surprised Peter didn't fake a splash or something. Yeah,
but you didn't hear a chomp either. Or something screaming in pain.
He catches Wendy, but he just splashes his hand really hard into the ocean to make it sound like she hit the water.
Jesus.
Again, he's a big boy, that gator. Of course, Hook's literally going to mount everything he's got. Shh.
We're laughing at your hat.
It's a cool prop, shut up.
Okay. His cosplay of Jack Sparrow is not that bad. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
Here's the thing, Peter Pan. There's only two things: what a man can do and what a man can't do.
Wait, that's a Captain Hook line?
Actually, no, it's a Jack Sparrow line. I was bouncing off
Reworking it.
his joke.
Oh. Bummer.
Of course.
Villain screen? Seriously?
Yeah, why not?
You were this close to say this is all your fault.
Even he doesn't like the hat.
Looks like Rachel Hurd-Wood, the girl that plays Wendy, her career apparently did not take off because from what I'm seeing here, most of her movies after this were all panned by critics and audiences.
Huh.
So...
That's a shame. Whereas Jeremy Sumpter, he's still in films to this day, so...
No, Rachel's still in films today. It's just that apparently she needs a much better agent.
I guess. Let's even the odds.
Let me see where Jeremy Sumpter was.
Okay, so a bit of a thing here. Unfortunately, Jeremy Sumpter did grow 2 inches during the making of this movie, so in order to have Hook still tower over him, they engaged a lot of filming tricks to make Hook appear much taller than him. And I'd say it actually worked out well. Ow.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, unlike what happened to those guys just then.
Huh.
They died.
Well, Jova, I'm seeing right now, Jerry Sumpter... Oh, okay.
Yes?
After Peter Pan, Jerry Sumpter also had a few critical and audience stinkers. He had this 2012 movie called Excision, which was praised by critics. But that's not... And after that, he went back to making stinkers, at least based on what I'm seeing here. So apparently Jeremy Sumpter's career didn't really...
Why did you step on her, you idiot?
Oh, shit.
Basically, Hook finally found his happy thoughts. The idea of cleaving Peter limb from limb.
Well, yeah, it's happy from his perspective, it is.
Yeah. He says it has to be happy and pure.
So here's a bit of a twist. Instead of like in the Disney film where Peter agrees not to fly, Hook actually can fly to match him now.
So what you're saying, he's got him hook, line, and sinker.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a zany man. You're not Wolverine.
You're not even played by Logan Lerman like Pan.
Oof.
Yeah, just go to McDonald's instead.
Look how happy she is as she fights the pirates.
She was thirsty, now she is bloodthirsty.
Ooh.
Hey, look, whatever fills her up.
I'll tell you, no, she's still thirsty for the other thing as well, as you'll see in a moment.
And you were saying, Deji?
I said whatever fills you up quenches the first.
Dang.
Gotta love how Hook is actually smart enough to use psychological warfare.
I guess it depends because in the book in Hook she doesn't forget him.
Well, it's more so Hook playing on Peter's fears of being forgotten here.
Sure, I guess, yeah.
I mean, okay, obviously that turns out to not be the case, but at this point, how could Peter know?
Yeah, and he's a child, so...
So now...
Master manipulator.
Yep. That's one thing I do like about this version of Hook. They definitely do get the silly aspects, but they also do ramp up his more serious side as well.
Also, can we point out the fact that kids just killed a whole bunch of adults?
I know, right?
Well, that's usually what happens in this franchise, Deji.
While laughing
know,
and
it's
smiling,
But like seeing Wendy so happy killing people.
Again, it's childhood wonder.
Yes. Have you ever dreamed when you were a child, Deji, of killing people?
No.
No.
I was normal.
Isn't that perfectly normal?
No.
No.
Okay. Think about it like play acting, but the fact that death is at hand doesn't really occur to the kids as much. It's like, when kids play cops and robbers, Obviously they think bang, bang, and all that stuff. They don't think about the terrible implications with the police these days.
They're not, they're too young to have their, existential downfall.
Yeah.
But they saw someone get shot twice.
God, those...
I mean, as she said at the beginning narration, his eyes turned red.
Yep.
The true power of love.
It actually is.
Oh no, this suddenly reminded me of the Matrix 3. No.
No. It's nothing like that.
Dare I ask?
No.
Basically, sure, Matrix 3 is stupid.
Agent Smith tries to do a whole speech about the power of love, and it's stupid.
Don't worry, though, she's just gonna give him a thimble.
How about a finger instead?
A thimble. I like a girl because...
Bitch, please, you have longer hair than me.
Probably combed better.
Yeah, he uses his hook to comb it as well.
I know.
The hidden kiss that her aunt talked about.
So there you go. That's the and she means it, as you're about to see.
Yes.
This is the other major scene that I remember from this movie.
Oh boy.
Just because of how, well, you'll see.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's cute.
Oh, it's more than cute, Deji, as you're about to see.
No shit.
Thanks for
Oh
explaining.
boy.
Understatement, my dude.
Oh, I get it. Emotional turmoil. What? Good lord, what is happening in there?
Alright, here we go. Look at this.
Morales.
He is
A
glowing.
bay in this part of the island, localized entirely up on the ship.
You may want to brace yourself.
And no, because Peter Pan is filled with the power of love.
Is he gonna become Super Saiyan?
Hit the deck!
No, this isn't Super Saiyan, Pedro.
That's
This is
it.
go even
Peter
beyond.
Pan.
Dad's it's...
Yeah, let's do
Woo!
Jesus.
Go see, Jesus.
Ow.
So, in Pan, he went Super Saiyan. In this,
Ultra
well,
Instinct.
yeah. Yeah, in this, he goes Ultra Instinct. And I kid you not, Ditch, he actually does go Super Saiyan in the Pan movie. To the point where he even pretty much does a Kamehameha.
So,
Alright, Hook. Let's go to where we left off.
Just let him off the hook.
So basically, allow me to recap. Girls are always horny, and boys when they're horny, they get superpowers. Okay.
I mean, duh.
Pretty much. You know,
so wait. Why is it that only the boys get the superpowers from being horny?
Guess that's how Neverland works.
It's you see, according to Sega, only male heads.
Oh shit!
Okay, think happy thoughts. Just think happy thoughts.
Dentist.
Let's make him fall.
Well, actually, if Hook dies now, then this can't be a prequel to.
Actually, Pedro, I've got you there on that.
Well, that happened.
Now you're probably you're probably thinking Hook is dead. Oh. Now you may be thinking Hook is dead, and he may be, but consider this: the crocodile swallowed him whole, no chewing. Believe it or not, there are some stories where Hook finally manages to kill the crocodile by clawing his way out.
I mean, this is kind of what happened. The aftermath is what happened in Hook. He killed it and stuffed him.
So
taxidermed it.
So does the crocodile not have a digestive system? How come Hook was able to get out?
It's a cartoon.
Okay.
I mean, it's a fairy tale.
Okay. So let's consider this. Maybe the crocodile does have a digestive system, but right after getting swallowed, Hook clawed his way out.
Paige,
and that's how he killed it.
You're a biologist on crocodiles.
I know. Don't get too worked up. I'm fine. It's fine.
Off to London. You know, London's gonna have a field day with the third flying ship now in the vicinity.
I know, right? They're thinking, it's the Germans again.
Seriously, Dej, all this crazy stuff we're talking about does literally happen in Pan. That movie is insanity personified.
All I saw was the ending where Hugh Jackman dies in the most comical way possible.
By singing a Nirvana song.
Peter and James were like, so are we still going to be friends forever? Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
You know, I know that movie was terrible, but a sick part of me actually does want to see what they had planned to actually explain how Peter and Captain Hook, became enemies.
So the day is saved, and...
Thanks to Peter, I guess.
The power of love, too.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute? They actually have real swords now with them and everything.
Also, again, another reference to Hook.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you could pretty much consider this a prequel to Hook. I mean, and again, it was originally supposed to be, so why not? Only difference is that Hook is left-handed because his right hand got lost, but yeah, that's just them being more faithful to the original book. What was that, Dribs?
And played by Jason Isaacs.
Oh, well, yeah, that too.
Well, I can buy Jason Isaacs being a younger Dustin Hoffman, actually.
Pretty much.
Much like how they had Joseph Gordon-Levitt be a younger Bruce Willis.
That worked.
Also, props to whoever trained the dog that plays Nana. They managed to catch on the movement they wanted it to do without having to make it look like this poor dog is in pain.
Yeah.
Because that's a problem with a lot that happens a lot to animals. Wrong isekai, Edge.
Shut up, I just realized that Chronicles of Narnia technically is isekai.
Well, that's the thing, dude, Deji. The first 2 Chronicles of Narnia films were Disney films. It's just now the third one also...
No, Deji's talking about the term I used, isekai.
Oh, well, yeah.
So it's a Super Mario Bros. Super.
You're still grounded. Yeah.
Aww.
See, thanks to this experience, the parents and the children have connected better. See, and all it took was a trip to a fantasy land.
By the way,
Father... nearly dying multiple times.
By the way,
where the villain kind of looks like your father.
Yeah, by the way, Father, I don't know if it's a complex or anything, but there was this man named Hook who looked and sounded a lot like you.
Oh, it's nice to know you think so highly of me as your father.
It's the Wizard of Oz situation. So was that all a dream, or did it really happen?
It really happened. I mean, look, the Lost Boys are literally there.
No, I'm talking about Wizard of Oz.
Alti, calm down. Take your man.
Yeah, okay. See, here's the thing, Dutch. In the original book, it actually did happen. It was the movie that made it kind of a, was this a dream or was it real sort of thing.
They're not animals, Wendy.
Is this how Toodles becomes, stays in the... Okay.
Yeah, yes, it is. You know, the Lost Boys are adopted.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, one of them.
They're not lost anymore, they're found.
When Hook is just Toodles, isn't it?
Well, okay, it's more so Toodles was the only one who lived up to that point.
Remember, Wendy founded an orphanage after that, after the...
I guess, sure.
Aww.
Well, in that case, what are the Lost Boys in Hook then, Jova?
What?
Or did he get new ones?
Oh, yeah. He got new ones. Yeah, he got new ones. Well, okay, it's like Peter said. Essentially, a Lost Boy is somebody who gets lost by their parent or forgotten entirely, so they go to Neverland, essentially.
Ah, there it is.
No one's gonna question where these children got all that stuff, no?
Hey, it's money, Shiroi.
Why not?
Sure, I'm not even gonna bother investigating if these kids have some kind of lost parents out there.
It's the old days in England. Pretty much if they were lost, automatic orphan.
Oh.
I like how Jova's been the one out of me and Dwibs just to explain what old England is like.
The old England was a very shitty place. I learned that from reading Charles Dickens.
Yep.
Aww.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, I wasn't aware that Tinkerbell had the power to manipulate people's minds. This is illegal, you know.
So much of this is illegal.
But we get a happy ending out of it. And again, it's a bit bittersweet though, because...
So hold on, Jova. So if I understood correctly, the boner he got from Wendy's kiss is still not enough. He needs the boner he gets from Wendy's daughter. Granddaughter. Sorry, granddaughter.
Can we stop?
Oh no, that's actually what happens in Hook, Deji.
Pretty much.
Aw, look how Tinkerbell literally played on the world's smallest violin.
With Peggy's niece.
Yeah, that happened. Also, I love how Tinkerbell literally plays on the world's smallest violin for him.
I'm sorry, I have to go off and make those sequels that I am sure we will get.
Actually, to be fair,
it's apparently a prequel, Dwibs, so technically the sequel already exists.
Yeah.
And honestly...
This is filling the gaps.
Honestly, unlike, say, Lone Ranger, I wouldn't say, this movie bombing really affected the idea for any sequels they were gonna make anyway.
It doesn't really feel like they're trying to have a sequel. It just feels like they're trying to make the missing link to the Hook thing.
I do remember the adverts for this movie being everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
It was definitely advertised.
Again, there was actually a lot of marketing.
It's just people saw Return of the King.
Unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened twice with Disney competing against Harry Potter.
It happened, pitting it against Return of the King, and she provided a dozen. Yeah.
And how Paramount thought it would be a good idea to pit the worst Star Trek film against Two Towers.
Ugh. You were saying, Pedro?
Except one.
So what's the explanation for well, actually, no, I think you already said. Never mind. Yeah, you said. Okay, never mind.
Aww.
Yeah. The shooting star and all that crap. All right, so deleted scenes then.
Yeah,
I get the idea that there's no post-credit scene, so you can skip the credits. I think for this one, for the Mindful time, because we have something just to see.
Nick Fury pops up and says, "Peter Pan of Neverland." You think you're the only magical person in this world?
Yes, I do.
Well, I got something to tell you, son.
Mr. Pan, I need to tell you that you're part of a greater universe.
I don't care.
The Spider-Man universe. Yes, we will have the Peter Pan and Venom crossover next year.
No, Peter Pan will be return in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, what will he be the new Captain America? Because he can't age.
Why not?
Anyway, Jovad, you told us that there are some deleted scenes, so...
Yes. Okay, allow me to explain. As you may recall, I mentioned how a certain aspect from the book, where Mr. Darling, atones from how he treated Nana and the kids, was made for this movie. For whatever reasons, maybe they considered it too silly or they cut it down for time, it was not left out. However, the DVD does pretty much compile all of those scenes here and there, which we will be checking on this YouTube link, which Gia will probably provide the link to you for.
Once again, timestamps and on links and all.
So, without further ado, let's look at the deleted scenes, also known as Mr. Darling in the Doghouse.
Yo, let's just start over.
3, 2, 1, click. So this is basically around the time when Peter tried to shut the window here, as you'll recall.
Ow.
So you may have noticed Mr. Darling came out of the doghouse in this scene. Why is that? Well, for those who don't know, in the original book, he sort of, to put it in loose terms, puts himself in the doghouse where he belongs. As sort of a way to, realize that, he was kind of crap to the kids and especially to Nana. So he pretty much lowers himself to below Nana's status. Oh. What I love is the lines involved with it as well. Back to the doghouse then. So, guys.
It's a self-punishment.
Oh my god, it's the falls of, the fault of Akiara Falls. This hole was made for me.
Oh wait, I love this line coming up. She just accused him of possibly liking it. He agrees.
He's role-playing. Leave him alone.
Don't worry. He extends that punishment to make sure he doesn't enjoy it.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
What's going on?
Wow, he really felt bad, gee.
Yep.
Okay, I get the idea why this was cut away. This is way too silly even for the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Even considering how silly the rest of the movie is,
if you put on a dog collar, I think that would be more thematically appropriate.
Even the kids think it's a little silly. I mean, it is something from the book, but I can sort of understand why they cut this one out. I mean, I do like it, it's funny, but I'm not too broken up that they left it out.
I love how in the related videos it says, I found there's the playlist of the full movie called Peter Pan Full Movie Disney in English 2002.
that is not how it works.
I love how that's the thing. A lot of people mistake this for being a Disney movie, even though it's not.
But my related movie
okay,
is Peter Pan, movie and commentary reaction. One
potential Easter egg that I noticed is the fact. Oh my God! Seriously, the composition of the room, the children's room, is also near identical to how it is in Hook. So I get the idea they studied the set to a T.
Considering how this movie was dedicated to, the producer's son who lost his life alongside Princess Diana. I wouldn't be surprised if, they were dedicating that in regards to this.
Jesus.
The grandmother's having a grand old time. Oh, I thought she was the grandmother.
No, she's an aunt. Okay, so those were the deleted scenes, but now let's have a look at the alternate ending, or deleted ending, and you can tell...
Is it gonna be like Die Hard 3, where it's terrible?
No. If anything, it's more an extension of sorts here and there.
Let's just start.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1, click.
It's like set 3 months later, and it's Peter and Hook talking in a bar on a table, explaining everything that happened.
No. Basically,
referencing the Incredible Hulk.
No, the Die Hard 3, Dad.
Basically, in this version, it's revealed that the narrator was a grown-up Wendy, telling it to her daughter Jane.
Who in this particular one is played by Wendy's now played by Saffron Burrows.
It is kind of a shame that this scene got cut because the girl playing Jane does actually seem excited and everything. And I can't really think of why they cut this ending out.
The girl playing Jane or Wendy?
Well, the narration is still in the final product, so Saffron Burrows is still,
Yeah.
Because up to this point, Saffron Burrows, at least to me, I saw her in Wing Commander where...
Yeah.
Wait a
Deep
minute.
Blue Sea, which was...
They would have pulled an Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, they would have.
Hey, Peter. Wow, so this deleted scene made its way into Return to Neverland.
When did that one come out?
Return to Neverland came out in the year after this, 2004.
Wait, so does that mean that Return to Neverland took inspiration from this because the daughter's name is Jane here, too?
Maybe there's some kind of actual book sequel? Let me check.
Well, is it told in the Shadow Thieves book?
Wait, what year did the Shadow Thieves book come out?
I don't know.
Because I feel like Shadow Thieves came out after this. Sorry, Peter. You have to see the truth. I have aged.
Peter's like, oh my God, what's wrong with your face?
Wendy, you're bigger. Search your feelings, Peter. You know it to be true.
Bro, what?
Yeah, seriously, that's a bit escalating. The violence is escalated.
Okay, Jane is in the original book, Peter Pan and Wendy.
So there is canonicity.
Sorry, Peter and Wendy. Sorry.
Wait. The book was.
I'm checking the wiki. So apparently Jane is the daughter of Wendy, and briefly in most versions of the story as one to follow Peter Pan to Neverland after Wendy has grown up and lost the ability to fly.
Okay.
Jane eventually marries and has a daughter. It says here, first appearance, Peter and Wendy, 1908. So yeah, it was this. Jane is an actual character from the original material.
Well, okay. I'm not quite sure it's
considering everything, I get the idea that the Disney version of the sequel, took the liberty of a timestamp, considering the book was made way before World War II.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess to be fair, it's not technically the original book, but it is definitely a take on the book that has shown up there. Was it one of the scripts that J.M. Barrie did? Because if I recall correctly, the original take on Peter Pan was written in, like, 18-something?
Let me actually double check real quick. J.M. Barrie.
Wait, I remember seeing this scene on a commercial when they talked about deleted scenes.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh, wait. Did they?
What?
Did
they
not
forgot
finish
the props?
effects?
Well,
Yeah.
guys. It's a deleted...
Well, to be fair,
it's...
Taylor, it's a deleted scene, so there was no need to finish it, too.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the green screen doesn't look that much better than in the final product.
The movie I get it. No, it's kind of poetic. The movie literally just gives up in these final moments. It's like it's deteriorating.
Well, I mean...
There's no music either.
It's
Watch as they fly into the studio.
It's like
room.
Roger Van Der Diamond's version of Sonic Lost World when it deteriorates near the
Wow,
end.
the studio looks amazing.
Again.
Oh, that shit's hilarious.
Again, to be fair, it's a deleted scene, so it didn't get finished, because,
I know, it's just more unintentional, but it's still funny that hilarious. Alright.
Oh, okay, I just found it. Allow me. Basically, Jova, according to here, technically the first Peter Pan related novel was not Peter Pan. It was a novel called The Little White Bird, or Adventures in, but also apparently called in some other countries Adventures in Kensington Gardens, whatever this is. Then in 1904, staged in 1904 and published in 1928. Okay, so well, it was written in 1904. After that, it was Peter Pan. Then it was Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens. Then it was When Wendy Grew Up, an afterthought. And then Peter and Wendy. So basically, Jane made her debut in the final book that J.M. Barrie wrote.
That's right. I keep forgetting that he made a series of books.
He made 5 books in total relating to Peter Pan.
But anyway, final thoughts for this version.
Dwibs.
Okay. I mean, I'll be honest. I wasn't really a huge fan of this movie. I mean, it's not terrible or anything. But I just found it kind of average. I mean, with some of the effects have really not aged well. Some of the acting at times is a bit ropey, and I mean, and it's just the story isn't really all that interesting. I'm pretty sure there was a pretty good reason, other than it being a really popular ongoing film trilogy that people saw Return of the King, or hell, even that sitcom it was up against.
Cheaper by the dozen too.
More than this movie. Again, I don't hate it, but yeah, I'm probably not gonna. But I mean, even by my own standards, I'm probably not gonna remember it in like an hour from now. So yeah, that's about it for me. Happy Christmas.
Alright, next, Deji.
It's okay. It has its flaws, and you can tell that it was a product of the early 2000s, especially with CGI. I do like this interpretation of Peter Pan, though. But there are, obviously everything has flaws, but there are more glaring issues with it. Like what Pedro says, it kind of feels like it doesn't know how to set the right tone without it being jarring, because it's like, okay, it wants to play it straight, which is fine, but it has its comical moments which feel out of place instead of making the jokes feel natural to some extent. If that makes any sense. Wendy's cool, but the fact that she was extremely thirsty for Peter is a bit
The idea of it is to show one of the concepts of growing up, and yes, horniness does tend to be a part of puberty, admittedly. It also does go a ways in showing how, whereas Wendy is more welcoming of these feelings of, love or more adult, mature feelings, Peter, of course, rejects them at first because they involve growing up, and growing up is his biggest fear. How fitting in a way that, if we consider Hook a sequel, love is what eventually does convince him to grow up.
Which is interesting, because in Hook, by watching Maura sleep, he immediately completely overcomes his fears instantly. It seems.
Maybe Jane helped out along the way.
I guess.
It's an entire family of her, Jesus Christ.
You know. I've never been able to find it, but there's this funny video online that I've seen that basically lampshades how Peter constantly works his way down each generation of the Darling girls to the point where they each get fed up with eventually being left behind. That instead they fake him out with a daughter, and meanwhile Wendy, who's now old, is still hoping that Peter will take her back, but he constantly ignores her the whole time.
Yeah, it seems, from what I'm seeing here, it seems like Return to Neverland is kind of a loose adaptation of Peter and Wendy, the final novel, I mean. So it's interesting. And this ending, this alternate ending also seems to be taken from that novel, from what I'm seeing here.
Although Jane's less of a jerk here than she was in the movie Return to Neverland.
Sure. Go ahead, continue.
You're done, Deji?
But yeah, I wouldn't mind watching this again. With Joe and whatnot.
So what was your favorite thing about the movie?
When Tinkerbell died.
Oh, damn.
I can respect that.
And then
He's honest, you know?
Everybody used their powers to bring her back, and she became a better character.
So, there you go.
So her dying was a benefit.
Yeah.
Well, it actually happens. That actually is common in stories, to be fair.
Don't you see?
Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
Yep.
Sure.
Alright, you're done, Deji?
Yeah.
Alright, Tio, you
Why
next.
not? Honestly, pleasantly appeased. Like I said, I was curious to see how this adaptation worked out, and yeah, it was actually a good time. I probably wouldn't have saw this in cinema, like it wouldn't it sparked me that much interested. And to be fair, at the time this was right away, I actually ended up seeing Return of the King instead. But it is probably something that I could have potentially still watched even in my teenage years. I mentioned this in the past, I forgot where, probably the Pan commentary, but I've never been like the biggest fan of the original story in general. When it comes to that kind of theme, I tend to prefer instead where the wild things are when it comes to teaching that kind of lesson. But I do say that this adaptation is much more balanced and well thought. It still has silly moments and some weird shit out of nowhere. Like Mr. Darling is much more sympathetic in this version. Although, tell me this, Jova, if you happen to know, because the Disney version always had that kind of weird revelation at the end, where he basically tells you that Mr. Darling happened to be, when he was a child, also one of the lost children. And then he came back to London because when he sees the gardener at the end, he's like, "Oh, I remember that when I was a kid."
Yeah, I never got that either in the Disney version.
Oh, it was a thing that was added in the Disney version. All right.
From what I can gather, I've never really seen it in any other adaptation.
Okay, then. I was just wanting to know. But no, honestly, this adaptation actually was a good time. All the actors seems to be functioning well. The gags are really good. Even the homage to Hook is not just blatant nostalgia pandering, but seems actually much well constructed. A lot of movies these days that pander to previous properties actually should take notice from this one. In my opinion.
It's like I've said, this one does what a lot of Disney live-action adaptations fail to do. Capturing the spirit, but also having enough new stuff so that, it feels more like they're making homages to other stuff as opposed to just blatantly ripping them off and doing them weaker.
The latest story arc of Mr. Darling having to be in the dog's house, like I said, was unnecessary, so it's a good thing it was cut. I would have been fine with the deleted ending being added as well. It ties up everything with a bow. But again, hilarious factor that the YouTube scene that we found was missing the special effects and the music. Again, it added unintentional hilarity to the mix.
There is actually a YouTube version which does add in music to the deleted scene, but that's a fan edit. I was thinking about showing you guys that, but I decided to just go with this one instead.
The biggest flaws that I can say is the CGI being dated. Even in general, even for the standard, like you said, the Return of the King came out at the same time and much better CGI and type of green screen effects. So this was clearly badly handled at the person that was at the helm of the special effects, sadly. The music, in contrast, instead, is really good. Nothing that I would probably remember immediately, but you get the idea that they try to reach the same ideal type of score that Hook had, because a lot of keynotes are very similar type of instrument use and such. And so once again, it contributes to help with creating this product that rewards the people for paying attention to a previous property.
And it apparently worked.
Well and actually like it.
Oh yeah, and like you said, it apparently worked with the music because even Disney licensed out music from the soundtrack of this movie for some of their products and adverts.
If I really need to be nitpicky about something, might be potentially a bit some of the pace, in a sense that the mid action act really does feel like the climax already immediately. And the space in between major action scenes is a bit off. But honestly, like I said, nitpicky, you can ignore this point. Probably props for also the casting of actual Native American for the natives. Well,
yeah.
They basically showed them in a kind of a corner. Tiger Lily is there to fill the quota, and the natives are there basically for a joke, for repairing the teddy bear. That's interesting. Also, I found interesting a bit of a couple, one or two jabs at the Disney version. Like one of the brothers gets the top hat, but then he basically loses it immediately and doesn't have it for the rest of the movie. That was cute.
Also, them actually addressing how the darling parents would feel, because apparently in the Disney version, supposedly time just works differently, so they conveniently
which is something
arrived
that I
in time.
actually wouldn't be fine with. Again, like I said also in Pan, I get the idea behind it of Neverland being essentially this piece of land that was essentially whisked away from the Earth and now works in its own kind of time bubble capsule, in which includes a pirate ship with the crew, a bunch of natives, and just a piece of the land. But honestly, this works fine as well, and it gives them a chance to actually humanize a bit more the Darlings, which is actually something that I welcome. But that's pretty much it for me. Really pleasant surprises, so thank you, Joe, for this Christmas present, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Shiroy.
I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. It was fun, aside from some of the more creepy elements, which we've established is not limited to this adaptation anyway.
The book was written in a very different time, 1900.
I'm talking about the movies as well, so Disney included. But yeah, no, this was this was actually pretty good. Like, I get why the deleted scenes were removed. I guess my favorite part of the movie would be watching how weirdly happy all these children are at stabbing a bunch of adults. I mean, that's a sight.
Especially Wendy, who happily
she was enjoying that a little too much.
And then there's Peter enjoying that kiss from Wendy, so much so that he literally exploded.
Yep.
Yeah. And literally knocked a bunch of people off a ship.
and then he willed a captain to go and die at the hands of a crocodile. But don't worry, he'll probably live somehow. He's just that stubborn.
Yes. No, that's it, really. This was, again, this was pretty good.
All right, then. Pedro.
It's overall fine enough, I guess. I do. The only real issues I can have is, of course, I still think that whole woman's chin thing probably should have been, if not deleted, a bit reworked. I mean, I don't.
I've never even heard that phrase before.
Me neither.
I can see what you mean.
I think it's one of those things where maybe it was a thing that people talked about back in the early 20th century, but. Like 2003, they should have updated the dialogue.
Is it all? It could be also possible as a synonymous for the for telling that she has a physique that would be ideal for a mother to bear children, and you just need more nurtured version, quote unquote, maybe.
I suppose.
But the bigger issue for me is, and like Jova said, yeah, I do appreciate the fact that they're definitely addressing the primary theme of the book. However, I don't know. I don't know how it concludes in the book. However, just based on this movie, just judging it how the way it is in this movie specifically, I don't think the movie really concludes the storyline about Peter Pan being afraid of growing up all that well, because they had that confrontation where Wendy confronts him with the idea of growing up, and he's you see him scared and stuff. But then at the end, they don't really resolve it. They just have Wendy and the kids be kidnapped, like in the book, and then Wendy kisses him, and he explodes, and that's it. And then at the end, Peter, of course, goes back.
Oh God, that was so weird. And what was that?
What, the exploding bit, you mean?
Yes.
It's the power of love or the power of boner.
It's a magical, more kid-friendly version of him having an orgasm. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much. Even though it may kill some people, it's actually the more kid-friendly version when you get down to it.
There you go. But yeah, like I said, they have her kiss him. He explodes. And then he fights Hook, and that's really about it. After that, he says farewell to Wendy, and the whole, we do have, she confronts him about growing up, but he never actually, there's no actual proper resolve. They don't actually properly resolve that plot line by having him properly reflect and reaching a conclusion about it.
I think that's
to Wendy about it.
I think that's kind of the idea, in the sense that it's a bit of a bittersweet ending here and there, that, sure, he'll live on to be Peter Pan, but he'll still have the folly of it here and there. Wendy herself does even mention how they probably won't see eye to eye on this. She's going to have to grow up, and he may not, but she does want him to know that the feelings are still placed there.
Even though she's married and has a kid.
It's mostly because I think they should have had at the very least one more conversation about this topic at the end, probably. Like at the end when Peter's about to leave, and then Wendy says what? So if you thought about what I said, and then maybe Peter has one final talk with her about this, and they conclude off in a nice little capping off of it. But it doesn't. I don't know. It feels like there should be one more conversation about this topic.
I suppose if you do consider this a prequel to Hook, then that does technically get touched base on again.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, Jova. Like I said, in Hook, he looks at Mora, and suddenly all that fear of growing up disappears because
dust in the wind.
Okay, so he already has the hots for Wendy here, but apparently Mora is just so much prettier, it seems. Because that Mora, she didn't even need to kiss him. All he had to do was look at her in her sleep, and he immediately thought, I'm gonna give her a real kiss. I mean,
and even Wendy, she's immediately she thinks of the theme book, but no, he means business.
Yeah. Well, okay. So my guess is was that years of Lost Boys coming and going, he finally just got tired of everyone else growing up and apparently getting some happiness. So I guess he finally relented when he saw,
the proper explanation that the movie Hook gives is that Peter came back. Peter grew up because he wanted to be a father. He wanted to have the joy of actually having his own.
That was his ultimate happy thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So not really. I guess
it does really make me wonder if they, even though they haven't officially stated that this is a prequel, I do wonder if they were still sort of relying on this being considered a prequel to Hook. I don't know.
It does feel a lot because there are a lot of things that line up with Hook.
And like I said, originally it was going to pretty much outright be a prequel. The only reason they didn't make it an outright prequel was because they couldn't get Dustin Hoffman back.
Mm.
But,
no, I guess, yeah, no. I just think the primary core plot could have done with a bit stronger resolving. That's all. Aside from that, the special effects. I don't know. I'm a bit more tolerant here. I don't think they're that bad. I think they look, for 2003, they look decent enough. They're serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen better, but at the same time, I've seen worse. That's the actors are all really good. The child acting in particular is very strong in this movie. It's so yeah, that's nice. It's a shame that these two kids didn't really go out to have a successful career, from what I've seen here.
Yeah, I've noticed that tends to be a lot of things with good child actors, like Haley Joel Osment, Elijah Wood. I mean, okay.
Lloyd,
and also
Elijah Wood.
Well, okay.
Macaulay Culkin.
Oh yeah, but okay.
Also, Elijah Wood did the stuff like the Free Willy movie.
Let me put it this stage. After one of the...
you said like, oh, they didn't have a successful career. It's like, he's Frodo Baggins.
Well, okay.
Nowadays, he's promoting AFK Arena.
Yeah, okay, that's the thing. After Lord of the Rings, he kind of had a bit of a career slump, it seems, though.
Yeah, I actually remember a movie that he did, which was actually pretty good, but I forgot the title, where he plays a Jewish nephew, but he has to track back the origins of his family, if I recall correctly. But the details fail me, and it's not the topic to talk about here. Continue.
Although maybe it's for the best, considering how some child actors can go off the deep end and become extremely corrupted. Look at you, Disney.
All right. Yeah, it's fine. However, I still think the definitive adaptation is Peter Pan and Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates. I feel like that version because that version really goes into the nitty gritty of its themes, including this theme of the fear of growing up. So, for example, like in the series finale of Peter Pan and Pirates, they also do the Wendy growing up thing and him meeting her as an adult. So they do. So they basically go through all the key aspects and then hopefully one day since Disney of course is going to constantly need to put content on Disney Plus, eventually hopefully they'll put that show on Disney Plus as well, because that show has yet to be properly released on home video. It didn't even get VHS releases back in the day, for the record.
Yeah.
So get onto it, Disney. So yeah, but no, this is fine. This is fine enough. I actually still although personally I still prefer Hook over it. While this movie is less flawed than Hook, I think Hook has more highs than this one does, personally, to me. And I think, and not to mention, Hook does do, I think, a better job of resolving its core plot than this movie does to me. So there is that.
So how about comparing this to the Disney version?
Well, this movie is clearly trying to be more faithful to the book. It's clearly not trying. I mean, I still think the Disney movie is fine, as long as you... of course, it has its flaws and its, let's face it, outdated aspects that are awkward. But yeah, but as long as you, at the very least, keep in mind that it was a product of its time, it's fine. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it to this day. So it's a fun movie. Yeah, it's not the most faithful adaptation, but on its own merits, it's a pretty fine kids movie, I would argue. No, personally, when it comes to these two movies, this and Hook, I actually prefer Hook, because I think, much like how I prefer Meet the Robinsons over Bolt, because while...
because Meet the Robinsons is actually a good movie.
Well, I still think Bolt was a solid movie as well. But it's more consistent than Meet the Robinsons.
Yeah.
Whereas Meet the Robinsons has that second act with all the pre-John Lasseter era before the new people took over to fix the movie. But no, yeah, I guess it's fine. It's fine for what it is. Although I do think it kind of forgets its own theme by the end of it. But whatever. I'm done.
Okay, I'll just say this. I do love this movie. I never saw it in theaters because, we had seen other stuff here and there. Kind of ended up seeing Cheaper by the Dozen 2 instead.
Wait, the first one or the second?
Cheaper by the Dozen 2, the sequel. That was the other competing thing that stole a lot of the audience as well. That's it. When I finally got around to seeing this movie on DVD, I really liked it. Like, I can see why a lot of people do consider it still to this day kind of one of, if not the most definitive adaptation of Peter Pan. Oh, don't get me wrong, there are other good ones too. I still need to get around to watching Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirate Show in full. And the anime version is
on YouTube. You can watch it there.
Yeah, and the anime version is weird. Very, very weird, to the point where you feel like they were mixing it up with Alice in Wonderland.
I need to actually receive that.
Well, that's the thing, Jova, like, that's the whole point, the whole, fantasy imagery with all the weird stuff, because there's actually a lot of stuff, apparently, in the 5
I remember seeing a clip recently of the anime, and it actually seems to be a bit in love with Miyazaki, because it incorporates a lot of steampunk into it.
Yep. Also, Hook's hook in that anime adaptation is more like a clipper.
Okay.
But anyway, my point is like, well, this adaptation combines a lot of aspects from different adaptations. The book, the Disney movie, stage plays, you name it. And I feel like it meshes them all into a very well venture here and there. The music is phenomenal. It's a contender for my favorite James Newton Howard score. I love the main theme. It's glorious here. The music for the battle scenes also are very well put and everything. It helps set the mood and the stage each time perfectly. The effects, while they haven't aged the best, I honestly do feel look fine. Also, the usage of the harness here was actually probably a good idea for the most part as well. Like, for the most part, it does look like the characters are actually flying here. And I do like how this movie relies more on practical effects than digital effects. Because let me tell you, digital effects were all the rage by the time of 2003. So, this movie is a nice breath of fresh air here and there. Mm-hmm. The casting is pretty good. Believe it or not, there was quite a bit of casting choices that would have been interesting. Like, did you know that before Jeremy Sumpter, originally was supposed to be Heath Ledger and Tobey Maguire who were considered for Peter Pan?
No, okay. As much as I have a soft spot for the Sam Raimi trilogy, I don't think Tobey Maguire had the acting chops to be Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And imagine Heath Ledger as Peter Pan. Can you imagine all the Joker memes you would have later gotten out of it?
Have you seen Fate of a Night, Jova?
No, I haven't.
You should. It's actually a good movie that will give you a similar idea to how it would have looked like in the role.
So you think Heath Ledger would have been good for it?
Potentially, but I just don't think the age would have fit better.
You're saying, Pedro?
And I'll tell you, making me imagine Tobey Maguire doing the Toby face while crying over Tinkerbell being dead.
No. He'll be like, "What's the matter? You gonna die?"
Oh God! Oh
my God, Dad, you really are thirsty for some fairy blood.
Well, anyway, when it comes to Wendy, believe it or not, they had Emma Roberts and Kristen Stewart in mind for the role.
Oh man.
But there was also a third person they had in mind for the role of Wendy. Our good old pal, Brie Larson.
Okay, so look, besides the Captain Marvel being a bad movie, what is there to hate from her?
She's not really a kind person, unfortunately.
Yeah, the way she actually handles situation and on social media in general.
Basically, according to her, I don't really, and I'm paraphrasing her here. I don't care if white men watch this movie, Captain Marvel. I mean, because white men are basically trash. Basically, according to her, people like me and Theo should not be even allowed to watch Captain Marvel and shit like that. Basically, she went all full. You know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
She's basically the American version of the woman who played Mulan in the live-action Mulan movie. What an actress in the particular movie. Terrible person in real life.
I mean, she's not signing people. She's signing with the U.S. government for what they're doing.
True. So, I'm just pointing.
It's a little bit of a. Neither of them are great, but it's a little bit of a false equivalent.
Anyway. Next, when it comes to Hook, the original guys before Jason Isaacs were Rupert Everett.
God damn it, Tia.
Go on, Jonah.
Were Rupert Everett, Gary Oldman, and Alan Rickman. That's right, 2 other Harry Potter actors were considered before Lucius Malfoy. I think my favorite thing about this movie, though, is Jason Isaacs as Captain Hook. He is just definitely, quite possibly, my favorite take on Hook possible. He encapsulates everything. The humor of Hook, the menace, the manipulation, the brains, the smarts, and the adaptive skills here and there. So yeah, I do like to believe that he essentially clawed his way out of the crocodile, which he has in some stories, and boom, that's how we got Hook, essentially. Bam. And he grew up to be Dustin Hoffman. Weirdly enough. That said, though, yeah, the casting is pretty great. Like the others mentioned, the acting all around is pretty top-notch. Heck, even the dog has some pretty good acting.
Yeah, like I said, it was actually trained well, and at least it gives you the idea that did the actual animal torture that happens to a lot of animals that are forced to act in front of a camera.
Yeah. The action is great as well. Like I said, I do like the swashbuckling here and there. It's so good that the first big action scene with the pirates, like Tio said, feels like it's good enough to be a finale of sorts. Which is why they saved an even bigger one for the next one here and there. The stuff about how they tie in stuff like how Peter's emotions or whatnot affect Neverland was a nice touch too. But my favorite thing was definitely their look into both sides of growing up. Both the negative, but also the positive sides of it as well here and there. It's a movie that definitely does not talk down to its audience, despite them, being kids, which is thankful because I am so sick of people thinking that just because their main viewers are kids means that they should dumb things down here. Oh no, this movie has all the nuance it needs. Can be pretty dark too when you think about it. A girl having to find out that her growing sexuality is repressed because, well, that boy ain't gonna be growing up in the head for some time, so yeah. I joke, but that is literally pretty much the case when you get down to it.
And then he busted her nut. She busted his nut.
No.
I'm sorry, Shiori, but look.
He's not. Technically, he's not wrong.
There's a literal visual pun there. I guess it's a joke for the parents.
Oh, I'm curious. Was the term "busting a nut" a thing in 2003 though?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're the American Joe. I thought you would know.
I'm pretty sure it's just meant to be a joke for the adults like this. That really.
Oh, I know.
They
I
don't
get
outright say it, on camera. So it's more of a visual pun.
Cute, yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. I also do like this movie's visual humor. It's humor in general here and there. I mean, like I said, it's a genuinely good and fun time here and there. Is there a better version? Maybe. I haven't seen one yet. Like I said, I haven't seen Peter Pan and the Pirates all the way through, so when I eventually do get to marathoning that, maybe that's better. But as far as my viewing experience has gone, this is definitely the best version of Peter Pan in my eyes. Also, again, it gets points for being one of the few versions to, get the natives right. I don't understand why that is apparently so hard, but congrats, you did it. Hey, this movie even earned quite a few awards as well and got nominated for a few too. So like I said, it's not a sad ending despite it unfortunately bombing and thus causing Vivendi to sell out their shares. What with NBC Universal's merger and all that.
So we have to thank this for Crunch and Spyro being acquired by Activision.
Shoot. Yeah, I guess we do.
Dang.
Huh. That's
I guess there is some bittersweetness in this ending as well.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, okay, it's because of this movie feeling that...
effect, Deji.
Basically, this movie feeling was the final straw that eventually got Vivendi to sell out their shares and essentially have Universal with the NBC merger and all that. And Vivendi at the time were the holders of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. So, one thing led to another.
Alright, and on that note, I guess it's time to park the sleigh, might as well.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Maybe
Merry
next
Christmas
year we'll actually
indeed.
get to Hook. Who knows? Merry
Christmas and happy holidays for the rest
and
of you.
bah humbug and shit. And now, if you excuse me, I need to put some pixum in my eggnog. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.